Welcome back, everybody, to part 2. It's time for the hot tags of the week. We're going to talk about the different rumors, stories, and anything else that's going down in the world of Smark Out Moment and wrestling for this week. So let's just dive right into this and talk about something that was more than a couple days ago, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it yet. We weren't going to do a small package about this one, but I figured it's still worth talking about. TNA has tried to claim that AJ Styles, Doc Gallows, and Karl Anderson are breaching contract. Now, a lot of other stuff has gone out since that original post, and they're saying total bullshit. Obviously, now we know AJ Styles is in WWE. He's wrestled 3 matches, so it doesn't seem like WWE has any kind of hesitation to do that kind of stuff. There are reports that Doc Gallows and Karl Anderson are going straight to the main roster soon once they finish up with New Japan, as opposed to going to NXT. So that would kind of point even more towards the idea that TNA is talking out of their ass. And other people have pointed out as well, if this was a breach of contract thing, TNA would be actually pursuing legal action instead of just bitching about it on their Facebook page or whatever it was. What do you guys think about this? Is this just way too petty on TNA's part? Who wants to tag in?
This is absolutely one of the lowest bottom of the barrel things I think TNA has done in quite some time. They're doing nothing but trying to dog 3 of the names that have got the biggest buzz right now, and all it's doing in the end is making them look like a bunch of bigger jackasses.
Mm-hmm. Because they don't come out of this looking like the victims.
No.
They look like they're just bitchy.
You know what's really ridiculous? In pop culture right now, I'm going to bring this outside the scope of wrestling for a minute. We have a rapper.
You're going to say wrestle?
No, a rapper by the name of B.O.B. who is trying to convince people that the world is flat.
What?
Wait,
You haven't seen? There's a rapper right now who is seriously trying to convince people that the world is flat. And he currently has a beef going back and forth with Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is like, no, you idiot, the world's round. It's been proven like hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, and the fact that we have fucking astronauts that have taken pictures of the planet.
He says they're all a hoax. It's like, did you take the picture? But yeah, the guy he's making a lot of headlines and trending all over and everything. Basically, TNA's trying to capture themselves in that. They're hoping to get caught up in all the buzz that's going on with that and get themselves controversy creates cash, as they say.
It's just so ridiculous, and it just makes me think even lower about TNA. Like, we rip on them all the time, and justifiably so, because they suck. And they continually prove through things like this that they don't know how to run a company.
So I think the reason why they're taking their complaints to Facebook instead of hiring lawyers is because that's what they can afford.
Well, was it Facebook or was it their... I just assumed that it was their Facebook or something.
I thought it was their Twitter.
Might have been their Twitter.
It was their official website.
Their official website?
They're fucking .com, okay? They can at least afford that.
It's probably... I thought it was just a link to their Facebook page.
Although they didn't get that .com originally when they should have. There was an ImpactWrestling.com that was just a normal wrestling website for like a couple years after they started TNA Impact. And it took them a while for them to be like, well, maybe we should have ImpactWrestling.com since we're Impact Wrestling. It's like WWE's on that shit. If they have like WWE anything, they grab that immediately. Hell, I had WWENetwork.com for a little bit. They grabbed that from me, you know what I mean? Like, so TNA's just either there is some kind of a weird contract dispute that went on where maybe their lawyers didn't realize that there actually wasn't a contract that was signed, or it's just complete and utter bullshit. Either way, they look like the bad guys here. Not Styles, not Gallows, not Anderson, and not WWE. Mike, do you have any thoughts on this? Do you think that this is just ridiculous?
So, if they were in negotiations with AJ Styles as early as they said they were, technically they'd be in breach, they could be in trouble with New Japan because they had a contract with New Japan.
Right.
Like, there's a certain window that you have for negotiating, and it all doesn't add up time-wise. They're talking out their ass.
Well, there is another thing that has gone on when it comes to TNA and different offers and stuff like that. One thing is apparently Jeff Hardy's sticking around. Woo, I guess. I don't know. But they've offered Kurt Angle a non-wrestling role. He's going to be a brand ambassador, the face of the company, one of those kind of deals. But he's also going to be working with the younger talent. kind of seems like there's no Kurt Angle WWE return coming anytime soon, which is really disappointing. I was really hoping that this would have been the final straw. Anybody surprised about this? Guess not. Nobody has any thoughts whatsoever? Anybody disappointed that Kurt Angle's sticking around here? Anybody think that this is not a good spot for him? You know?
Honestly, I'm not sure what I want to see Kurt Angle do anymore. I think his best years are behind him. He insists he can still go at the same level. I disagree. He's definitely slowed down. And I'm sure he's got a few good matches left in him, but there's no ideal situation or ideal match that I want to see him in. There was one point where I thought Rusev would have been perfect, but that's gone. There's Daniel Bryan, just for the match quality stand itself, but other than that, I don't really care about Kurt Angle.
I mean, I agree. I think his best years are behind him, but I'd still like to see him do another run in WWE sometime. And, you know, obviously the sooner the better, because he's not getting any better with age, I don't think.
Yeah. It's just a matter of when and where it'll take place at. So I guess we'll just have to be patient on this one.
Here's the thing. I'm not worried about anybody signing any kind of long-term contracts with TNA, because I don't think anything's guaranteed for TNA.
That is true.
Well, does anybody have any theories of why he just keeps coming back to TNA? Is it because they treat him like he's the best thing ever and it's an ego thing?
No, you want to know why?
I think it's his health.
You know, I bet it's that, and also it's the fact that WWE's not offering him anything. And if TNA is the only person that's giving him a contract and are offering him the most money, you know, money talks, and people go to where the money is.
Yeah, I bet he has a lot of freedom there, and, you know, it's the whole big fish in a little pond scenario.
It could be that. Because once he comes to WWE, we know he's done. Like, he could maybe have, like, 1 year of, like, kind of like what Sting did, where he wrestled 2 matches or something like that. But he's not going to be coming there and winning the world title and stuff. So
I honestly don't think he passes their impact testing anyway.
Probably not. He could definitely pass the impact test when it comes to
impact test.
TNA.
That's clever.
So let's change it up a little bit. Let's talk Team B.A.D. They're in a bad situation right now. Naomi is injured, and Sasha Banks is apparently split from Team B.A.D. So first off, do you guys think that this is a step in the right direction for Sasha? And second, the hell do you do with Naomi and Tamina now? They just pushed aside and don't worry about them?
You can fire Tamina, and that's not that big of a loss. Naomi, let her recover and let her keep on doing the heel shtick, you know?
What about Sasha?
Dude, it was obviously a right step. That was a stupid question to ask. Of course it was a right step for her. It was a good step. And now she's in the title picture, and she's not with Team B.A.D. Obviously, it was a good thing for her to leave.
Yeah, Tony, your questions are stupid.
Yeah.
Fucking moron. Fucking even wasting our time asking us these questions. Jeez.
Yeah, Sasha Banks does not need unity. She doesn't need them. If anything, they're holding her back.
Just let the record be known. I wasn't the one that called you a moron. That was him.
You basically said it.
Hey, I didn't say
Yeah, your tone, geez, Drew. I mean, you had a lot to chime in on the first 2 things, didn't you?
Well, see, I was playing the silent game on the Kurt Angle thing.
Thanks. It's really good to do that on a podcast.
Hey, no problem.
Co-host of the year, everybody.
Hey, one person likes it, so.
I think Team B.A.D is fine just being the alliance of Naomi and
Tamina.
I mean, they look like the 2 bad chicks. Sasha
also,
Banks, she's too cute and cuddly to really be like, oh, that's a bad bitch. And yet she can be, because she'll surprise you with her excellent ring work, but I still don't think it really fits in with that. If they're going to do Team B.A.D, they need to continue playing up like the hood rat aspect of Naomi. They need to like drop that I'm amazing. Give her like some hood shit. Give her like same shit that AJ Styles
had.
Yeah,
just have them use the same entrance music. No, do you think not now, but if they are still like a tag team, those two in like a few months, think they'll put someone in NXT with them?
No, they could replace Sasha Banks, the loss of her, with Alicia Fox or somebody.
See, I don't think that they're going to replace anybody. I think that this is just their means of getting rid of the Team Bella thing, too. Because we don't have PCB anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And Paige has been kind of hanging around Natalya, but I think that's more so because they don't know what to do with either of them. So if you get rid of Team B.A.D, Naomi and Tamina, they can stick around with each other. I mean, they're family and stuff like that, but they don't need to. And if you have like the two Bella twins and you have the two of them together, and some other people have some connections here and there, but I think that that's the end of the 3-on-3 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting another member to be added. I mean, they could always do that. They could always add, switch Alicia over, where they could do, God, I don't even know who they would bring in. Because they're not going to switch Paige over and bring her in there. They're not going to put Natalia in with Team B.A.D, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think it's just, that's the end of Team B.A.D. But hopefully if it is, then it's the end for Team Bella, too, because maybe we don't even have one of the Bellas around anymore. Nikki just had her surgery. She's going to be out for a little while. And it never really made any much sense for it to be Brie and Alicia, Team Bella. You know? Let's see what else we have here. Two things for the new additions for the network. Just throwing it out there in case anybody's checked them out. WWE Ride Along and the WWE 24 WrestleMania Silicon Valley were just released the past couple of days. Did anybody check them out?
Nope.
Not yet. I'd like to check out that 24. That looks interesting. I like the other 24s they did, but I'm not really too concerned about the ride along or drive along or whatever the hell it's called. Doesn't interest me.
I watched them both, and for those interested in how they are and whatever like that, 24 is good. It gives you a good little backstory about some of the different things that happen at WrestleMania. It's not, crazy different or anything, and there's no huge revelations about like any kind of like fights backstage or anything, but it's cool to watch like Triple H setting up for his entrance, and they're joking about how like the ramp is not stable and like what if I fall and shit like that. And a lot of the people like Seth Rollins, he's given a good idea of just how crazy it is to look at all the people standing there and all that. So that's fun if you like that kind of stuff. Ride Along is not really that great. That seems like it's, I mean, you can kind of expect it to be sort of half-assed just by the previews, and it is. It was the New Day in one car, and Ziggler and The Miz in another car, and really, they don't talk about all that much. And it seems more like a WWE YouTube extra video than anything else. So I wouldn't really recommend the ride-along thing for people. If you have time and you're interested, check it out. Make a decision for yourself. But don't set this as like, you gotta set aside time. You don't have to. It's not really that great. So let's talk about the two other big stories that are going down. We didn't get a chance to talk about one of these over the past couple of days, but we definitely do need to talk about this. Two new debuts in NXT. We've got Austin Aries, and we've got Shinsuke Nakamura, who is actually going to be facing Sami Zayn at TakeOver Dallas. Austin Aries is working a feud right now with Baron Corbin. He's going to fight him there. We got two brand new people, and they're getting on this TakeOver card right before WrestleMania. Seems kind of awesome, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Nakamura is the person I was most excited coming over in this whole New Japan acquisition. He's the person that I think we've seen the least amount of in the United States. And I think he's the person who overall has the most potential. I mean, AJ's making a big splash right off the bat because he's got a bit more credentials as far as his resume. But AJ's at the tail end of his career. I think Nakamura's still got a few years, and that's why they're putting him down in NXT first, just to they could take their time a little bit more with him. But over the next year or 2 years, it's going to be very cool to see what happens with him.
So what do you guys think about the idea of Nakamura facing Sami Zayn of all people? Is this signifying he might be a heel?
No, I think it's just they just want to have a good kick-ass match.
Yeah, and that's a pretty much foolproof way to go about it. Sami Zayn typically has great matches. Payton says that he thinks he's going to do really well. I think they're going to give him a chance, but I don't know how well Nakamura is going to translate to the American audience. I hope he translates really well because the guy does some really cool stuff. And not a lot of people talking about the Austin Aries thing. After it happened, it just seemed to go dead, but I think him and Finn Balor could have some kick-ass matches.
I think Aries could have really good matches for, like, pretty much anybody in the grand scheme of things. I'm actually really looking forward to what he does with Baron Corbin, actually. Now, Corbin's not, crazy awesome in the ring and anything like that, but I could see them working really well together.
So, Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, how do you think the crowd's going to be split on that one? Who do you think will get more support?
I still think Zayn. Funny enough.
This is going to be in Dallas, though.
I think it's going to be split. Because I think you're going to get a very smarky crowd there, and I think they'll just be cheering for both of them.
I think it kind of depends on how, sort of like how they present Nakamura, because we know this only by the tapings right now. We don't know exactly what they're going to be doing for like vignettes and stuff. If they present him as a heel, which they might not do, I mean, it could just be babyface versus babyface. If he's a heel, then Zayn definitely gets a higher amount of the cheers. If he's a babyface, it's going to cut into it a lot, but I don't know if there's really that many people that are going to be in the Dallas crowd that really know him all that much. I actually, even though I will fully admit I don't pay attention to a lot of things outside of WWE, I had never even heard of his name, I think, until a couple months ago.
I mean, he's been around. He's been in Ring of Honor. He was in AAA. He's been in this side of the ocean. But, I mean, you could have said the same thing about a lot of these guys. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people backstage at WWE were very concerned about what kind of reaction AJ Styles was going to have coming out in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And the crowd exploded for him.
I guess the best person to equate it to is the reaction that Kenta got. And he got a good one. So
absolutely. Aries got a good reaction when he came out as a surprise. Finn Balor, they went nuts for. Yeah. So, I mean,
Asuka even.
The crowds are a lot smarter these days. And even if it was someone they don't know before, I think people are a lot more in the spot where they're going to see the headlines on scoopscoopscoops.com and then just do some searching and be like, wow, this person's really cool. All right, I'm hyped.
And then Mojo Rawley goes, hey, you can't see that. Anybody have any other thoughts on Aries or Nakamura? Or any other hot tags before we roll out? All right, I guess not. So what we need you guys to do is leave your comments below. Tell us what you think about all the things we talked about and anything else that we might have missed as well. We're going to take a little break with the rest hole, and after that, we're going to come back with your mailbag questions. So stay tuned for part 3, part 4, part 5 with the Fantasy League, and we'll see you in all those parts.